So, welcome to this special event from World Pro Racing today here with the V8s at Bathurst. Definitely, we're going to have an exciting race, due obviously to the difficulties and quite difficult track we have today here at Bathurst, and obviously enough it's going to be a good challenge for the drivers we have with us today. So, we're going to have a 10-minute practice session, 20 minutes qualifying, and then we have a 20-lap race here at the Bathurst track. Together with me today, as usual, Justin, who will be obviously taking care of the live stream, and also Joshua, who will be doing the commentary, and I'll be watching also stewarding and looking at the drivers, what's going on. So, Joshua, on to you now. We're going to go live with our official practice session in 5 minutes.
All right, thank you, Adrian, and welcome everyone in the stream today. We have an absolutely classic car track duo combination for you today. V8 supercars, Australian V8 supercars from the Mount Panorama circuit at Bathurst. You don't get more iconic than that in the world of motorsport, especially in the Southern Hemisphere. So today, of course, we're taking these fantastic, massive brutes of a car around this very long, very twisty, very dangerous circuit at Bathurst. It's going to be tight, it's going to be treacherous, and it's going to take a lot of skill to come out on top of the pile here today. So the drivers have undoubtedly put in a lot of practice to this. They will have been looking forward to this for days or weeks, and now we're here and preparing for the start of the first official practice session today with World Pro Racing. Hello everyone in the YouTube chat, and also we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, as in fact. So whichever of those three is your favourite, you can pick and choose which one you watch with us today. Hello to everyone watching in the chats as well. I see Eddie G, I see Sharon Schenkman, I see Menashe Avis, I hope I pronounced that correctly anyway. Eddie G just posting a little race car icon as well, so that's very nice. And as I said, we're also live on Facebook and Twitch as well, so drop us a message if you're watching, just to let us know if you're enjoying it, and I'll be reading out a few of the messages as the race weekend goes on. So we have a couple of drivers here today racing around the Bathurst circuit. I see 10 or 9 at the, and that's more than enough to get a thrilling classic race at Bathurst. I see a mix as well of both Nissans and Holdens. I don't think we have any Fords here today, especially seeing as I didn't see any skins being uploaded for Fords. But yeah, we have both Nissans and Holdens, with the Nissan seeming slightly more popular here. And currently, the practice benchmark time has just been set by Peter Green in this session. However, I don't think this is the official practice. In fact, no, it isn't. That's just about to start in about 2 minutes time now. So the laps that they're setting at the minute are still unofficial, and they're a driver's way of warming up before the big event, and before the world starts watching their progress. So we're about to start. It's going to be a 10-minute practice session, followed by a 20-minute qualifying session, and then a 20-lap race. That 20-lap race will probably take between 50 minutes and an hour. And of course, I noticed a 10-lap practice session isn't actually that much time for a practice session. You probably won't get many laps in that, so that's going to be interesting. It means that if the drivers make mistakes, they're going to have to show us what they can do in qualifying instead. And in fact, with a track this long, qualifying is going a pretty difficult one as well. I'm expecting a lot of the quickest lap towards the end of the session, when the drivers are at the peak of their confidence, and I'm expecting a real shootout at the end there. This is a great track for time trials and shootouts. Of course, World Pro Racing their very first shootout here, I believe, back when we were gearing up for the Sim Racing Malta Porsche Championship, and it was the top 20 drivers that got selected from that. So it's a track that some of these drivers have raced with World Pro Racing, and it's a track that these cars were absolutely designed for. So get these cars much more in their element than when they're at Bathurst. So we're just waiting for the start of the official practice session now, starting in just about, well, possibly under a minute, and we'll see the session tick over, and then the first couple of drivers go out onto the circuit. This track, of course, Mount Panorama, was first used pre-war, I believe. It's a very classic circuit. They don't really build them like this anymore, and partly for good reason. It's a very tricky one, and a very, very dangerous one as well, in the fact that it does tend to cause quite a few accidents. The track opened in 1938, so it was pretty. It's most famous for the Bathurst 1000 event that happens every year with these V8 supercars. V8 super. It's 3.8 miles long, so that's about 6.2 kilometers. 23 turns. The majority of it is the left, right, left, right, left, right flip at the top part of the circuit. Official practice has now begun. The first driver out of the pits, I believe, was Sean Lariro. So Sean Lariro, that the South African driver, will be leading us round. Was he the first driver out? I'm not sure. I think we're about to find out anyway. But whatever the case, we have a couple of drivers out on track now, just setting up for their first flying laps, and showing us this very treacherous and tricky Bathurst circuit. Of course, some of the key features of this circuit are the left, right, left, right, left, right flicks at the top of the hill, including the famous dipper over the top of Skyline. Then, of course, you have the dip down into Forest Elbow as round. Forest Elbow as well. There you go. Absolutely no runoff there. So if you get your braking wrong, you're stuffed. And then that leads you onto the very fast and very long Conrod Straight down towards the Chase. The Chase is a place that's notorious for very dangerous mechanical failures. I've seen punctures and brake failures, pitching cars miles off the road into very solid walls you have down there, and also gravel traps that tend to like to roll cars. I hope we don't have any issues with that today. And of course, the whole circuit, as its name suggests, Mount Panorama, is based on the side of a mountain, so you have elevation changes to bring into effect as well. In fact, let's watch Sean Lariro as he takes us around this first flying of the circuit. He's heading up the hill, and this right-hander here is known as Griffith's Bend. That's turn 2. Turns 3 and 4 are very much to be treated as one corner. It's a double left-hander uphill. This is the cutting, with solid concrete walls on either side. Now we head up the hill. This is Quarry to the right. We'll see Reed Park on the far right as well, before going through a double left at Frog Hollow over the top of the hill. And the gravel trap on the big slide there as we head towards Solomon Park, which is just on the right there. And now the very famous Skyline and the dipper through the S's. And you have to make sure you keep tight to the wall there, because it's so dangerous. You just get flicked around like a pinball if you get it wrong. There's the double left-hander, that's Forest Elbow. One of the tightest corners on the circuit, which also carousels you downhill. And then you head back onto the Conrod Straight. All 8 cylinders absolutely blaring over the crest of the hill. Now watch for your apex on the right hand side there. That's the first part of the chase. Brake, there we go. hit the second apex. Very nicely done there from Sean Laraira. Actually, I spoke too soon. He spun it. He possibly just took too much of the curb there and kept the throttle in, and around it went. So, first hot lap is going to be set now by Avi Markovic instead. Markovic crosses the line, and it's a 2:04.645. So that is the benchmark for this session so far. But Peter Green, I believe, is just coming through as well, and he looks as if he's about to go quicker. So Peter Green, I think, is going to put down our new benchmark time. There he goes, and it's a 2:04.188 to go to the top of the order. Almost half a second ahead of his fellow Israeli driver, Avi Markovic. Itamar Yativ goes up into third position now, but we've only had 4 drivers setting laps so far. You might remember Itamar Yativ from our Tatus F4 team challenge when he led the first lap of the race after qualifying, before unfortunately crashing it at the final corner. So Yativ is a driver who has more pace than he's been able to show here at World Pro Racing so far, and he'll be hoping to pull something out of the bag here today with these Aussie V8 supercars. So it's now Peter Green at the top from Markovic, from Yativ, and I believe that's 4 Israeli drivers at the top of the order there. I can't quite see Yativ's flag, but I believe he's Israeli from seeing him race in the past. So the Israeli driver's going very, very, very quickly today. At the top, rest of the world driver is in 5th position, Dean Vella. And then we have Sean Larairo from South Africa in 6th position, but of course Larairo spun on the last time round. He has not set his lap yet. He's only 6th because he's one of the only other drivers to have set an 8 lap. So ignore Sean Larairo there. Was not on a lap, and neither is Leslie Oliphant at the minute. He's just setting up for a lap, which just confused me. Oh no, yeah, never mind. Leslie is on his first flying lap now. So Leslie going through the dipper, sets a first sector time a little way off the talking of the top, in fact, Peter Green's about to go even quicker. I think he set the fastest second sector time of anyone, and he does improve his lap at the top of the order there, 2:04.006. So Peter Green's showing us how it's done so far today. Other drivers on laps now include Reem Gross, Decha is of course a pseudonym driver. I'm not entirely what the name he goes by in reality is, but for now I'm going to have to call him Decha. Reem Gross through the final corner now, about to improve his lap by about a second. I think he's going to go to 2nd place to jump Yativ and Markovic. Let's see, he crosses the line, he goes to... So Reem Gross goes 3rd. It's a 2:05.367 at the minute in that green Nissan. And a big jump there from Leslie Oliphant, who sets his first flying lap. So Oliphant sets his first flying lap, and it puts him 3rd with a 2:04.98. So he demotes Gross's recent lap. However, I tell you what, Peter Green, who is already top of the order by 0.6 of a second, is now improving by another couple of tenths of a second on this lap. So Peter Green has just set the fastest first sector of anyone again, and as he goes through Forest Elbow, this is looking great so far. He's also got another car ahead of him that he can possibly get a bit of a distant tow on this straight. Loses a little bit of time. He was something like half a second up at the start of this lap. Now he's only a tenth up, but still, this looks as if it's going to be the quickest lap so far. Losing a bit more time down Conrod Straight. Maybe didn't get the best run out of Forest Elbow. It's going to be close as to whether it is his fastest run or not, actually. He needs to get the momentum back here. There he goes. That's a good chase there. Through the final corner. Possibly braking a little bit early. Gets the power down, but yeah, he's going to go quicker than his lap, I think. And as he crosses the line, it's a 2:03.981, fastest 3rd sector of anyone as well. So that is the first lap we've seen within 2:04. It's a 2:03.9 for Peter Green, and he's going to have one more flying lap here Other drivers behind are improving though. Leslie Oliphant is going about 7/10 quicker. In fact, this could be a challenge for pole if he can pull something out, or not pole because it's only practice, but for the top of the... If he can pull something out in the final sector here, it looks as if it's definitely going to be second, so long as he can keep it together. So Leslie Oliphant, the South African, has one corner to go. Reem Gross goes to third, 204.946. But Oliphant's about to demote him. Whoa, he spins. No, he isn't. Oliphant's crashed into the barrier. And that was looking like it was going to be a lap to challenge pole position. But in the end, I'm afraid Leslie has spun it around and nudged the barrier. And he's not going to get another opportunity in this session to go any quicker. However, it doesn't really matter much. This is full practice. Qualifying is coming up very short. But it means that that is not going to affect his overall starting position at all. But still, it would have been nice to have seen what he could have done there. Drivers on their first flying laps at the minute, because I believe that all drivers who have set flying laps so far are now back in the, or on slower out laps. Drivers about to set their first lap include De Chellis and Daniel Streamer, but the checkered flag is out, so that means that no other driver is going to have a chance to improve except the ones who already started their laps. De Chellis goes off at the chase, so De Chellis will not be setting a clean lap in this session. What about Daniel Streamer? He's about to cross the line. Where does this put him? It actually puts him second, so that's a really good lap there from Daniel Streamer. A 2:04.579, and he's going to be a driver to look out for in this session. So that is practice over. Peter Green claimed the top time by 0.598 of a second. Green in a league of his own at the minute. And then following him, Daniel Streamer, Avi Markovic, Reem Gross, Leslie Oliphant, Itamar Yativ, and Dean Vella. But those were the only drivers to set clean laps. Other drivers in the session who didn't manage to set laps were Sean Larairo, De Chellis, Sean Larairo and De Chellis rather. So we have 9 drivers here today, and that was the order that they posted lap times in practice.
So it's good also to remind our followers to subscribe to World Pro Racing, where they can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and even Twitch. So go there, watch us, and subscribe to our channels there, and follow what's coming up even for the busy schedule of 2019.
Yeah, we've got some great things coming and great things planned, including a championship to do with the Grip series, which I'm very excited for. We had a non-championship race the other day with the Grip series, some of their real life drivers, and of course the fantastic Grip G1 car. And that was so much fun. It was one of the craziest races I've ever commentated, and I would highly suggest going back to watch that if you can. It's still on YouTube and Facebook, I believe. So yeah, that's definitely worth a watch. And more of that is coming in 2019, as well as some other projects as well. I'm not sure that we've heard everything that's coming up, and of course we're going to continue doing these non-championship one-off races as well. So 2019 looks to be a very exciting year for World Pro Racing. It's going to be our only our second full year and our first full year as World Pro Racing. So I'd say bring it on. Anyway, qualifying has now begun. 20 minutes of the Mount Panorama circuit has now seen the green light, and the first driver to go out onto the track is Leslie Oliphant. So Leslie Oliphant, the South African, with a sort of cube livery running on that Nissan, is taking the RPM Esports around Griffiths Bend, and this is going to be the he sees the track. Oh, in fact, I was going to say this is going to be the last time he sees the track before his qualifying lap, but I'm afraid he's going to have to try again because he's just crashed at Griffiths Bend. So that's a bit embarrassing, crashing on your out lap. But never mind, he's going to get another chance. That's because this is sim racing. That's not the be all and end all. You do get to go back to the pits and have another chance. Oh, I believe we've just seen Avi Markovic disconnecting. Yeah, Mark and Reem Gross appear to have just disconnected as well. So hopefully they can. No, ignore. but yeah, Markovic isn't. So hopefully he can make it back in before the start of the session. In fact, I believe that Reem Gross is going to be the first driver onto a. Yeah, he certainly seems to be the furthest around the track. So long as he doesn't do a Leslie. Actually, no, he's not. I just saw tyre smoke from ahead of him. Okay, well, we'll see who the first driver is when they begin their lap. Never mind. Might be Peter Green. Yes, I think it is. So Peter Green, our the fastest driver in practice by almost 0.6 of a second, is about to show us what he can do again. And I wonder if anyone can pull anything out of the bag to match him in qualifying. In practice, it may just be that they were holding back a bit, keeping their cards close to their chest. And now we're about to see the true pace of the cars. You can never just judge the pace off a practice lap. So here comes qualifying. Peter Green starts his first flying lap, followed closely by Reem Gross and Dean Vella. There's Hell Bend, the left-hander there, which has been renamed recently, I believe, but yeah, known definitely as Hell Corner. And the story behind that actually was that they used to race motorbikes here, and there used to be a really dangerous tree stump on the outside, and the rumour was anyone who touched that tree stump had something like an 80% chance of death. So yeah, very very dangerous corner back in those days. Luckily, the standards of a racetrack are much safer these days, and we have a nice little gravel trap on the outside of that corner, and a wall to keep the cars in, and no nasty tree stumps. But anyway, back to the lap. Peter Green's first sector time is about to be set, so we can see just what he's capable of on this lap as he dips through the dipper. In fact, I believe that first sector time was definitely down on what he did in practice. And in fact, he's currently being outpaced by quite a few drivers, including Itamar Yativ, who is fastest in the first sector so far. I don't think this is Peter Green's best lap so far, but we'll see as he completes the lap. These cars, of course, very very tricky to drive. They've got so much wheels, and they're just bricks really in terms of the shape of them. So quite top heavy. They tend to like to kick out the rear a bit, but that's why we love them. That's why they're such fun cars to race. Very Australian style. And while they are very difficult to race, they're also very rewarding. Through the final corner comes Peter Green now to set his first flying lap, and it's a 2:04.474, so that's about half a second off what he did in practice, and he can definitely improve on that. Reem Gross line to go second. Itamar Yativ goes to the top with a 2:04.182. So Yativ, our quickest driver so far. I still don't think we've seen the last from Peter Green yet, or indeed Leslie Oliphant, who hasn't set a lap. But remember, Oliphant was definitely showing that he had more pace than he could in practice when he crashed at the final corner when poised to take second place. So will he be able to challenge for pole position in this qualifying session? We still have 15 minutes to go now before we find. And at the end of the first couple of runs, it's Yativ from Green from Gross. And we're about to see a couple more flying laps being set in as well. Avi Markovic setting the fastest second sector time of anyone, despite being on an out. So, well, it's good to see that Markovic made it back in. I saw him disconnecting earlier. Now he's just set the fastest third sector of anyone so far this session, despite, again, the fact that it's an out lap. No one seems to have told Markovic that, and now he goes on to a flying lap as well. This is going to be interesting. Peter Green, I told you he had more to give. He's already going 7/10 up on his best. So Peter is delivering what I knew he could at the minute. And so long as he can keep the second part of this lap together, this will definitely put him at the top of the order. Here's the chase where he spun at one point. In fact, he's not going to be a complete for Peter Green. He's missed his braking zone at the chase, as it's so easy to do, and that's the end of that. That's the end of that lap for Green, rather, as he's about to start another one, I think. But yeah, it's a shame he wasn't able to set that one. That would have absolutely put him at the top of the order, and lightly kicking himself. Hopefully that won't cost him the session. No, I told you Markovic had a lot of pace. He's now fastest in all 3 sectors. My goodness. So all Markovic needs to do now is do it all in the... He's just in the Forest Elb straight. And that's a very quick first sector. He's about to set his second sector time as well. And so it looks as if Markovic for the top times here today. He's just gone over the crest. Look at how he dips 2 wheels almost off the road on the entrance to the chase, just maximizing the amount of track that that's how you do it through that. His second sector time is actually down on the time he set on his outlap. My word. Through the final corner comes Avi Markovic. Where does this put him? I'm actually not sure. As he crosses the line, it's going to go first. It's a 2:03.365. Brilliant lap. Daniel Streamer goes second as well with a 2:03.903. Wow, Peter Green's in trouble. Markovic has gone quicker. Streamer has gone quicker. This is brilliant. And Markovic now leads this session by over half a second, 0.538 in it. This is a brilliant performance from Avi Markovic so far. Very, very quick lap that he's just set there. And does anyone have a response for that at all? Well, yeah. Goodness me. In fact, Avi Markovic is on another lap, but it's down. Peter Green has just exited the pits as well. He's on an 8 lap, and we'll go for one more. Well, no, more than one more flying lap, I expect. Reem Gross, I'm interested by his lap at the minute. He's coming out the final corner now, a little bit sideways, but he's going to set the lap anyway. And that's going to put him 4th, is it? Yep, 4th. There we go. Just over a second off the top time. Gross definitely showing potential here today. De Chalice is about to set his first clean lap, although I'm afraid it's going to be a long way down on his competitors. Indeed, De Chalice well and truly at the back of the order for now. As Daniel Streamer pulls over, so he had just started another lap, but obviously he feels he needs to go back to the pits and try again. Peter Green has just started another flying lap as well. He's a driver who's capable of at least half a second, probably more. He was up 7/10 on his last lap before he went off at the chase. I'm sure he's capable of doing the same thing again. There's the double left. That was the cutting. Now he's going through quarry, and the left-hander with the deep gravel trap on the right. That's sorry, yeah, that's McPhillamy Park. And it's a very common place to lose control as well. It's quite tricky in terms of grip there. And Peter Green has just set a brilliant first sector time, in fact, only a 10th off, but he goes very wide at the at Frog's elbow. That, not Frog's elbow, Forest Cuttings. In fact, I just mixed 3 corner names. No, Forest Elbow, that's what I meant, not Frog's Cutting or Frog's Elbow. You've got the Cutting, you've got Frog Hollow, and you've got Forest Elbows. Getting them all in the wrong order. That was confusing. I don't know what happened there. Never mind. Whatever the case, we're still watching Peter Green, but it looks only going to be, in fact, he's not going to be able to set a quicker lap. He's had to pass to Chalice on that lap there towards the end, and that's held him up a bit. So Peter Green still has more to come, and still hasn't been able to deliver it quite. Leslie Oliphant looks as if he's about to go quicker. He might even jump Peter Green. Actually, no, I don't think he's quite going to be quick enough, but it looks as if he's going to improve on his lap as he crosses the line. Yeah, gets slightly closer to Peter, but can't quite gain a place with that lap yet. And Green's probably feeling quite frustrated with this session so far, I expect. Also just starting new laps now, Itamar Yativ and Daniel Streamer in their quest for pole position, with Yativ setting a first sector about 3/10 off the quickest, so but quicker than his personal best, so that's an improvement. Peter Green's about to set one of a similar pace. Indeed, it's exactly the same, well, to the 10th of a second as Yativ's, but we know that Peter tends to be slightly quicker in the second and third sector. So I'm interested in both of these laps. I think Yativ's going to set his first, so I'm going to watch that one intent. Leslie Oliphant also improving on his first sector time, but yeah, the more immediate threat to the throne. In fact, he just set the fastest second sector time of anyone here. Final corner. Oh, this is a challenge for pole. This is great from Itamar Yativ. He's really hooked it together in the second part of the lap, and he does go provisional pole, 2:03.33. He was 3/10 down in the first sector, and I was wondering if the lap was going to come of anything, but he really hooked it together in the second and third sectors. That was brilliant from Itamar Yativ. A great lap to put him at the top of the times. What can Peter Green do? He goes third, 2:03.650. And the gap between Yativ and Markovic at the top of the order is 0.031, less than a tenth of a second, less than half a tenth of a second. Very close at the top of the times here. It's a long track, and really 3/10 of a second, which separates Yativ and Green, isn't that much. And it means that this is still anyone's game as we go towards the final 6 minutes of qualifying. Now Green is on a little bit tight at the cutting, but that's okay. And Markovic now starts another lap as well. Markovic, a very immediate threat to the throne, because he only needs to find 0.04 of a second. Green's in the wall. Well, he tagged the wall anyway. He's still going on this lap. He doesn't appear to have been affected by that much at all. He would have lost a little bit of momentum, but he's still up on his delta. He loses it into the barrier hard at the chase, not the chase, the dipper rather. So that's that run down for Peter Green there. It was a bit of a messy first sector, and it just culminated in the second sector there. Now, what about Avi Markovic? He's already gained a tenth of a second on his lap so far, and he only needs to gain 0.04. So this is looking good for Mark as he flies over Frog's Leap. Oh, but there's a car stopped on the inside there. There was a car stopped to cross his path on the inside of McPhillamy. Was that? I think that was Leslie Oliphant, in fact, who'd had a spin there. And I think Markovic is going to feel pretty annoyed at that, because that's cost him about 0.2 of a second, which could cost him pole here. Wow, that was a little bit worrying there. It's good to see though that all 9 drivers have set laps in this qualifying session so far. In practice, we got a couple of drivers that couldn't set times at all, but everyone is doing so far. Reem Gross looks to be about to improve as well. Could he challenge the top 4? Whoa, it's Avi Markovic. Avi Markovic sets the fastest second sector time of anyone. In fact, despite being held up, he's going to set provisional pole here. There he... Yeah, it's a 2:03.202. What could he do without the distraction? My Now, I'd absolutely written off his lap as being ruined after he Oliphant spun at McPhillamy, but he somehow managed to get it together in the second sector and go. Is that like 7/10 faster than anyone else there? My word, I think it is. Avi Markovic, fantastic second sector. Oh, the Chellis is about to improve his lap faster than in both sectors. He's about to go up by 2 seconds. Yeah, gets slightly close to the rest of the... Oh, and crashes. Still at the back, but not quite as far behind as he was. Still, it's good to see. It's good to see drivers of all different pace margins on track here. It shows however much experience you have, and however always find someone to race in this series. And I would very much urge people to sign up to this, because if I wasn't commentating today, I would be racing. Look at Avi Markovic go! Look at that! Fastest first sector by almost, well, by over 1/10 of a second. Now he's going 6/10 up on his delta. I thought his last lap was blistering. He's about to set something even more special. This is amazing from Avi Markovic. I just said at the end of his last lap, what could he do without the yellows at McPhillamy? And he's absolutely showing us now. Through the final corner he goes. That wasn't even the fastest second sector of anyone, and it's still 5/10 up. Final corner, and this is a stunner. Across the line, 2:02.649, over 1.3 seconds faster than the fastest time in practice. I've never seen such a big upset of the times as that. My word, Avi Markovic blast, absolutely smokes the rest of the field, 0.685 ahead of anyone else. That is something you very rarely see in racing. And he's going quicker still. Avi Markovic is going to be the driver to watch here today. He's showing us exactly how you do this Mount Panorama circuit. I get the picture, he just couldn't hook together a lap in practice. He's showing us now that he really can. Peter Green might be about to challenge those. He goes onto another lap. And Daniel Streamer as well has just started his final flying lap. And I say final because we're in the final minute of qualifying time. So through the Forest elbow goes Avi Markovic. He's actually about 2/10 down on his best, so I don't think we're going to see another improvement, but he really doesn't need to improve. Itamar Yatov's in the pit, so Yatov won't be going any quicker here. Neither will Daniel Streamer, who's backed off and gone into the pits as well. The only other driver who could challenge for quicker laps in the top 5 here is Peter Green. Unless Reem Gross can start another lap. In fact, yeah, Reem Gross has just started another lap. So Yatov comes around the final corner now. Needs to find 0.2 of a second to go any quicker. He's not going to do that. So Markovic rather sees the checkered flag. The session is coming to an end. Peter Green was improving his lap, but again he goes wide at the Forest elbow. That's a corner he's really struggled with. That's where he lost his last time as well. So Peter Green there, not quite getting it hooked up into the Forest elbow today, and that's going to be his last chance of challenging Yatov. Drivers who can still improve include Leslie Oliphant. He's going almost a second up on his time, so Oliphant here could be on for. It all depends on what he can do in the final 2 sectors. He is currently 6th, and he's going to be the last driver, I believe, who really stands a chance of improving on his lap, as Peter Green crosses the line and doesn't improve. So what can Leslie Oliphant do as he enters the chase? The thing with Oliphant is he has a lot of pace, but he can't quite deliver the lap. Although he does go quicker than his personal best as well in the second set. This is a good performance from Oliphant out of the final. It's going to be about 4th. He's 6th at the minute. Now he goes 5th. So just missed out on 4th position by less than 1/10 of a second. And that means that Avi Markovic takes pole, and a dominant one at that. Only driver to do it in under 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Brilliant. He's followed by Itamar Yativ, Peter Green, Daniel Streamer, Leslie Oliver, Reem Gross, Sean Loreiro, Dean Vella, and De Chellis. The 9 drivers we have here today, all of them set timed laps. And that is the finishing order of this session. So the 9 drivers will line up in that order in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, we're going now for a short commercial break, and we'll be with you very, very shortly. And we're back for this special event today here at Bathurst V8 race by World Pro Racing. I would like to ask our followers to subscribe to our channels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also Twitch. So watch us there, subscribe, and choose your stream where you want to follow us. I would also like to thank our sponsors, Gaming Malta, just remind me, Justin, because GT Omega Racing, obviously enough, and all other sponsors that have also supported us in the past. Definitely a great and busy 2019. We have also launched the Grip Championship. In a couple of weeks, we'll be also in the Go Malta Esports Festival with the first sim racing tournament with 5 simulators there. So all those that can join us here in Malta for this great weekend of esports, we're going to be there with our sim racing event sponsored by Trustmaster. So 10 seconds away. On to you, Josh.
Yes, we're about to start the race. It's Yativ in second place, looking at the leader as the lights go out, and Markovic leads us away. We're underway. Yativ on the outside, Markovic on the inside. Watch Green and Streamer coming from behind. Has Markovic braked a bit too late there? No, I think Yativ braked slightly early, trying to get the run out of the corner. Markovic leads us through. Yativ is second. Peter Green's dropped a long way back. So Peter had a bad corner there, and Daniel Streamer's through in third place. I believe he's being Foster up from sixth, and yet Yativ's disconnected. And Markovic is losing places, and Daniel Streamer leads. So I didn't see exactly what happened. Streamer is now leading from Gross. Yativ is out. Markovic is a long way back. Green is a long way back. The top three have all been affected at the start, though something's happened there. And I just did some research as well and found out that actually the top three broke the real life qualifying record. So it's a big shame to see them all having issues at the start here. And I'm really not sure quite what's happened, but whatever the case, we now have Daniel Streamer, who starts in fourth place, leading this race. Well, that's a bit of a bizarre start here, and I'll update you on the full order after the first lap. Who's in third place, in fact? It's Avi Markovic, so Markovic recovered in third. He's being followed by Leslie Oliphant, I think. It's rather close at that point in the field. Yativ is back, but he's in the pits, and this is very reminiscent. Oh, as Green challenges, whoa, and gets passed around the outside now by Leslie Oliphant, who goes wide, and Green gets the place back. This is very reminiscent of when Yativ led in the Tatas F4 challenge, and then had a crash at the end of the first lap. So obviously, first lap's really not his cup of tea. Let's watch the slipstreaming as we head down the straight. This is Streamer being challenged, and oh no, Streamer's actually fine. It's Reem Gross there challenging, and Oliphant passing two cars, passing Nariro coming through as well. I'll update you on the order now as we exit the final corner. Very difficult to tell who's who when it doesn't update you until the end of the first lap. Right, it's Streamer leading now from Gross, and then we have to wait a little while for third place to come through. It's now Leslie Oliphant, who just overtook Vela and Green. So Vela is fourth, Green is fifth. Markovic is in the pits, so something did really badly happen with Markovic. He's in the pits, as is Sean Laurent. Yativ is on track again, and it's DeCellis running in seventh. Yativ will be eighth. Well, he will be eighth if he passes Avi Markovic anyway. Markovic in the pits. And I'm not entirely sure why, but that means that the order has had a massive shuffle on the opening lap.
Yeah, sure. We were looking on that, but I think it was actually a disconnection thing from Itamar Yativ that unfortunately caused some kind of incident with the other drivers, which were very, very close to him. So the incident happened due to this possible disconnection from Itamar Yativ. We'll be obviously reviewing the whole thing later, but from the first sight we had, that was...
Yeah, that's very disappointing, and a very similar issue happened when we raced at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve as well. So, someone's off, and that was one of the leaders, Daniel Streamer. Daniel Streamer, from the lead of the race, has spun at the dipper, rather, not the cutting. So Streamer from the lead has made an error, and I didn't see that happening. Reem Gross is in the pits. What is happening to the leaders today? Daniel Streamer spun. Reem Gross, who would have inherited the lead, is in the pits. That gives Leslie Oliphant. My word, I've got no idea what's happening today, but it seems that no one wants to lead this race. Watch Team Vela now. Vela is being attacked by Peter Green. This is for second. They're very nearly touching as they go into the chase, and Vela's going to run wide here on the exit. Vela goes on, and as he rejoins, Peter Green comes through on the outside. And Green inherits second. There he goes. So Peter Green up to second. Vela down to third. And Vela had a good start. They're from 8th position to get up to second in all of the carnage. And that would have been like Christmas come early from him. But anyway, Leslie Oliphant leads us across the line. Second is Peter Green. Third, Dean. And now we're waiting for the other drivers. Streamer pits. So Streamer, who's spun, obviously has some sort of damage. He's pitting as Reem Gross only just exits the pits. So what a muddled up order we have in this. A complete disastrous start. Daniel Streamer comes through in 4th. And we're going to have to wait a long time for everyone to come through. DeCellis is 5th. Everyone behind him has been seriously affected. So Gross, Markovic, Yatov, and Loraro, who knows what order they're in. They're all still running, just at various random different points on random different laps. My word, what a completely unpredictable start to this race. Avi Markovic has just triggered the beacon in 48 seconds down. So, unfortunately, the field has been very, very much spread out by incidents at the start of this race. Markovic, of course, was caught out when we had a disconnect from Itamar Yatov. Yatov is now back in the race, but a long way down, just like he was in the Formula 4. I believe Team Vela now is dropping back from Peter.
That's actually great to see. Also, drivers that got disconnected or had heavy damage and had to go back to pits to obviously repair their cars to rejoin the race and not just disappearing. So that's definitely the spirit of sim racing.
Yeah, certainly, and it's essential in a race with so few competitors as well. We only had 9 to start with. Now we only have 8 within a minute and a half of the leader. Yatov has just triggered the timing beacon in 7th place, over 100 seconds behind Leslie. So just a disaster. Then we have Reem Gross and Sean Loraro. They're both at least a lap down. And we've only just completed lap 3 of this race, in fact. So the gap for the lead is 4 seconds between Oliphant and Green. And then Vela is about 7 seconds back from Oliphant. We then have to wait almost 50 seconds for Streamer. Or almost 30 rather, and then almost 50 seconds for DeCellis, maybe even a minute by now. DeCellis has just come through in 4th, so something's happened to Streamer as well. Oh, that's because he pitted, isn't it? Yes, that's because he pitted. So DeCellis from the back of the grid, 9th position. Remember, he was 6 seconds down on anyone else in qualifying. He's already up to 4th. You could not have predicted this. My word. Markovic 5th, Streamer 6th. And then it's going to be Yatov, Gross and Loraro. Gross only just a lap down. Peter Green is pushing as he attempts to catch the gap to Leslie Oliphant. Remember, he was quicker in qualifying, so theoretically should be able to catch Oliphant. But this is a tricky track to do it at. It's hard to follow here. You really need to just stick with the car in front until you get onto the comrade and then blast it. I'm interested in the battle of 4th as well as Markovic catches DeCellis, because it seems that Markovic is catching at a very high rate of knots there as well. And there is 13 seconds between them, but I believe that Markovic is going to catch that in about 3 or 4 laps. Maybe shorter if DeCellis makes another mistake. In fact, Markovic is really pushing it here because he's just set the fastest first sector of anyone in the race, and that's almost 6 seconds faster than DeCellis' first sector. DeCellis is struggling a bit at this track. It looks maybe like he just didn't get enough practice or something like that. I mean no disrespect to him by saying that. It's good to see all kinds of different drivers on the track today, but I hope you won't mind me saying that Markovic is going a lot quicker at the minute, and can already see him up ahead as we head towards the chase. In fact, is that De Chalice there? Yeah, De Chalice just moving over for him. So De Chalice not making it difficult, and Markovic goes through into fourth position. In fact, is De Chalice slow? No, puts the power down. Never mind. I was wondering because he pulled right over onto the grass. In fact, there is an error for there is a problem with De Chalice's car. He's pulling into the pits now, and possibly some damage to that car there. So that means we've now only had 3 non-affected drivers in this race. Yeah, there is heavy damage to De Chalice's car. I was wondering why he was going so slowly on the corner straight. It is actually because the car is heavily. As another car goes back to the pits as well. No, was I just seeing things there? No, never mind. I think that was a glitch. Because all other cars are out on track. So that means only Oliphant, Green and Vela have been unaffected by incidents so far in this race, the top 3. Everyone behind them is miles behind after various different incidents. This is looking more like an endurance race than a 20-lap feature length race. With further back, the order being decided almost entirely on who's had the smallest issue. After the first 4 laps of the race now, it's still Oliphant, Green and Vela up in, and the gap, I said the gap between Oliphant and Green was coming down. It actually didn't. It came out on that last lap by 0.2 of a second. As near as makes no difference from Oliphant to Green. So Oliphant still keeping his lead nice and steady there as he completes another lap of this race. The first 5 laps are now over, and it took the cars just over 10 minutes to watching the order intently as well, because I'm just wondering where the next bit of drama is going to come from at a track like Bathurst. It could come from anywhere. Leslie Oliphant is just about to the Chalice. The Chalice now came out in 7th, pulls over in the cutting. Had to do that very, very quickly, but Oliphant clears him clean, and through he goes. Oh, did Peter Green just make? I thought I saw him getting a bit sideways through the cutting. Never mind. He's running cleanly out as he goes over the top of the hill, and he's going to be the next driver to come upon the Chalice. I can see him just around McPhillamy there, and should get past him with no issue as well. Other drivers a lap down are Reem Gross and Sean Lararo, but they're a bit further back. I don't think they're at risk of being lapped by anyone anytime soon. And there we go. Ah! Oliphant's disconnected! What the heck is going on? Leslie Oliphant from the lead of the race. He was leading it by over 4 seconds. He disconnects. What a disaster! Everyone who takes the lead of this race has been involved in some sort of issue. That is utterly ridiculous. And that means Peter Green now leads this race from Dean Vela. That is Vela from 8th on the grid, now back up to 2nd. And at this rate, he could end up winning the thing. My word, Leslie Oliphant disconnect. Peter Green taking. What utter drama we're seeing today. This reminds me of the 1982 Monaco Grand Prix, where it seemed like no one wanted to win the race, and everyone who took them will either run out of fuel or crash or spin or have a mechanical failure or something in the last couple of laps. This is just happening the whole way through the race. My word, how long until something happens to Peter Green? Well, Green now leads this race. He's leading by 6.6 seconds from Dean Vela. That means Avi Markovic is going to be promoted back into 3rd position, and he's just going to complete his to have about a 50-second gap from 1st to 3rd after only 13 minutes of racing. Who would have predicted this? I tell you what, Bathurst here. Bathurst absolutely showing us why it's got its reputation for being one of the most unpredictable circuits in the world. It shows us this time and time again, and it's showing it to us again. Daniel Streamer triggers the beacon in 4th place. But at the end of every lap, I have absolutely no idea what the order is, because someone has always had an incident that I haven't seen, or had a disconnection or something like that. And the order is constantly trying to sort itself out. Oliphant has just reconnected to the server, so he's back in, but he's going to have lost a lot of time in all of that.
We're also experiencing a disconnection right now from the server. We're just joining back the server now, and we'll be live with the race very.
My word, this race is so hectic. Even the camera can't handle it. I've never seen anything like this before. My goodness. In fact, only the top 4 drivers are now within a minute of the leader. That's Green leading, and then Vela 6 seconds back, Markovic 37 seconds back, and Streamer 58 seconds back. To go back to Yatif, you have to add another 50 seconds. My word. And we've only done 15 minutes of racing. We're not even halfway through this race yet. We've got a lot more to go. And hold on to your hats, because I'm sure it's going to be just as bumpy. I tell you what, this has been a really good day for Dean Vela. In his, I think his first race with World Pro Racing as well, who qualified 8th. He was, in terms of his lap time, he was over 3 seconds behind the leaders, and now suddenly he's found himself in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Sean Larairo is back in the pits, so something else has happened to Larairo, and it looks as if we might only have 7 cars still running in this race. If we have lost, oh, Oliphant's disconnected again. Yeah, I believe that Oliphant is out, and I think Larairo may well be out as well, meaning we have 7 drivers remaining in this race. And the order of those drivers is a complete lottery. Good job from Peter Green as well to keep out of trouble. He's currently leading this race. And to keep out of trouble at Bathurst does take a lot of effort and a lot of concentration. And Green's been doing it well, as has Vela, the top 2 drivers. The only 2 drivers who we haven't seen in the pits yet. And yeah, they've been doing a really good job in this race so far. It's good to see drivers running cleanly, and I hope I haven't just put the commentator's curse on them, but no, in this race, I might well have done. Behind them, we have the battle of the cars who have been damaged in incidents. Avi Markovic is 3rd. He's about to lap Reem Gross, I believe. He's certainly catching him, and then, of course, we have Streamer 4th, Yativ 5th, Dicella 6th, and Gross 7th. They're the other drivers remaining in this race. 10 seconds now separate the top 2, Green from Vela. So Green pulling away and setting clean lap after clean lap at a very decent pace for this stage in the race. Good to see you all in the YouTube chat as usual. Koslov Gaming says good evening. Good evening to you as well. Ehud Abraz sums up the whole race in one word: wow. And Ilka 69 rather says go Peter. Peter Green currently leading this race. Good to see you all here, and if you are watching and if you're enjoying, it would be good if you could let us know. Sean Larairo says his controls are locked for over 3,000 seconds for a smashed engine. So yeah, that's his race over. And indeed, he's now disconnected from the server. So that's that for Sean Larairo. We won't seeing him back again. And that means we do have 7 drivers remaining in this race. So as we approach the 20-minute mark in the event, we have just completed. Where's Peter Green? He's just about to complete lap 9 of this race out of 20, so we're almost halfway through it now. And Reem Gross has just caught up to the back of De Chalice, and I believe this is for position. It is. This is for 6th place. So Gross, who has been catching De Chalice for laps, has now caught up to him. His first sector was over 3 seconds quicker, and off the road goes De Chalice. Well, he locks up and goes wide, and Gross powers past him. That was pretty standard there. As Reem Gross goes through to 6th. Oh, and now De Chalice, let's who was that going through as well? That was Avi Markovic going through. Markovic on the back of Gross now. Gross is going to have to let him through very shortly. Blue flags will be waving when Markovic gets closer. Markovic are pole sitter, of course. It was amazing how the top 3 in the session beat the real life pole time, with Markovic beating it by over a second. Of course, it may be that the mods aren't entirely accurate, but also very good performance from all 3 of those guys. Very quick laps. You do sometimes see that in sim racing with you know, the reduced dangers and the reduced physical force on the body. You can often see drivers beating the professional lap times, but still it does take a lot of skill. And Avi Markovic has a lot of skill. He now laps Reem Gross, so Gross lets him through in a safe and clean way. And Markovic goes on his way, so that's good to see. We're over 20 minutes through this race now, and we're coming to the end of the 10th lap of this event, the halfway point, when Peter Green crosses the line this time around. In terms of best laps, currently that's being utterly dominated by Avi Markovic by over a second. He set a 2:03.797. That's almost 2 seconds quicker than the next best lap, which is set by Peter Green. So Markovic absolutely flying, trying to gain the time back after his incident at the start. He was caught out when Yativ had a disconnection, and now he's running again and trying to catch back time to Dean Vella. In fact, he's pulling back roughly 2.5 seconds per lap at the minute. And he has just under 20 seconds to catch. So using a bit of mathematics, he's got 10 laps to go. And 10 times 2.5 would be 25. So 25 seconds. Yeah, he's looking on target to catch Dean Vella at this rate before the end of the race. Although remember, catching someone is one thing and passing them is another thing. It's all about what Markovic can do when he catches up to him, and if he's conserved his tyres as well. I don't know how sensitive the tyres are on this car, but I'm sure we'll soon find out as Avi Markovic pushes hard and keeps pushing for that second place. He's currently 3rd. We're over the halfway point in this race now. Oh, I think Daniel Streamer just tagged the wall a bit there, but he got away with it. And Yativ's disconnected again. Itamar Yativ has disconnected again. That's a shame. He was second at the very start of this race, and attacked Markovic at the hill. They ended up coming together when he disconnected. He's disconnected again.
Yeah, actually, also he told us he previously had, before the race today, had some internet issues, so possibly that's why him disconnected actually twice now.
Well, that's a shame. He had that back at Canada as well, as I said, but yeah, it's a shame to see it happening, and it's happened again. So Daniel Streamer out of this race now. Oh, not Daniel Streamer, what am I saying? He's still running 4th. I meant Itamar Yativ out of this race. And that means we have 6 drivers still running. Green, Vela, Markovic, Streamer, Gross and Chalice. Whoa, Vela's made a mistake. And Markovic, Vela's in the pits. Vela is in the pits. He must have had damage. So Dean Vela loses second place. And that means there is only one driver on this track who hasn't made a pit stop.
Actually, I think now we'll be seeing a couple of pit stops because definitely no car will manage to do all that amount of laps in this track, possibly without a pit stop. So I think we'll be seeing some pit stops very soon. Maybe Dean anticipated.
I forgot what point in the race we were at, actually. We are over the halfway point, so that's standard. Sorry for panicking, anyone. And that did look like a pretty standard pit stop there for Dean Vela. I'd be interested to see if, or which of the cars that were damaged earlier still need to make pit stops. Because it might just be that if they manage to extend this stint here, they can do the full race to the end. We'll have to see. But yeah, Dean Vela made a stop there, dropped from second place back to third. Markovic is now second, and can Markovic run to the end of the race on this stint? We'll have to see. Yeah, sorry for panicking anyone there, but yeah, Dean Vela appears to still be fine, and he's still running rather well in this race. That means the only driver still yet to make a pit stop is Peter Green. And Green's currently leading this race as well. In fact, if Green drops by Markovic in his pit stop, which I don't think he will, but if he did, and then if Markovic was able to extend his stint to the end, he might end up winning this thing. Now that would be a real comeback from Avi Markovic there. I hope I'm not speaking too soon. Well, we're expecting Peter Green to pit any lap soon. He didn't pit on that last lap. He's currently going up through Griffiths Bend and still on the same stint that he was on before. Avi Markovic is behind him. 26.7 is the gap for the lead. Now who's going to be classified third? Who's ahead out of Vela or Streamer? It's going to be Streamer. So Streamer is third. He's just about to lap De Chalice as well. De Chalice gives him room, locks up and goes wide into Murray's, but through indeed does go Daniel Streamer, nice and clean. And yeah, Streamer will be classified ahead of Vela. In fact, I think Peter Green might well drop by Markovic when he stops. So that was not expected, but it's looking likely. And he could probably do with pitting as soon as he can, because Markovic is gaining a lot of time in him, almost over 2 seconds per lap. In fact, Green could do with a new set of tyres at this point in the race. Purple sectors coming in from Avi Markovic. His first sector alone was over a second faster than Green's. This could be essential, but only if Markovic can do the rest of the race without stopping. It's going to be tight. And Peter Green doesn't pit. In fact, that shows me that he might feel that he can possibly do this race without stopping, because it's quite late for a pit stop at this stage. He's already done 13 laps of this race, and I'd have expected him to have made a pit stop by now, because on a track this long there isn't really a long pit window in terms of which laps you can do it on. But Peter Green maybe can extend this stint. It's going to be tough. Markovic puts in another purple sector there. He's still flying. And if Green does... Oh, Green's in the wall. Yeah, Green's hit the wall in the cutting. Is there any damage? He just rubbed along that barrier there. And I don't think there's any steering damage, but he needs to stop, or needs to be a bit more careful, because that was very close. And his heart will be racing a bit here. That was very close there. He did rub the wall several times. In fact, very nearly touched the wall on the inside there. He's driving a little bit nervously here. And I tell you what, I'm expecting Peter Green to gain back quite a lot of time on this lap here. As Dean Vella now laps the Chalice. They're actually side by side as they go up the straight, but the Chalice sees him and gives him room. There he goes. Now Peter Green is on the Conrad straight. Does he pull off the road and pit this time around? If he doesn't, I'm going to assume that he's trying to go to the end of the race without stopping. It's already a possibility. And it doesn't look like he's heading for the pits. He isn't. So Peter Green feels like he can do this whole race without stopping here. As he crosses the line, what's his lap time? It's actually, it's a 209.8 after that collision. So Markovic is going to have gained a lot of time on him on that lap. Possibly up to 5 seconds there. Markovic has just been driving consistent lap after consistent lap. Set his fastest lap of the race last time around. A 203.767 is now within 20 seconds of Peter Green. The gap for the lead is 19.339. It's not coming down at a rate where Markovic would challenge Green before the end of the race, unless Green was to pit. And if Green does not pit, that shows me that Markovic won't pit again either. Markovic running a bit wide there at the top of the hill, but manages to keep it within the lines, I think. And this is a very tense race at this point. You can tell that Green is feeling the pressure. Oh, as I think tagged the wall there at Griffiths. He gets away with it. Still 6 drivers remaining in this race. And we're about to complete lap 15 to leave just 5 laps to go. Half an hour done in this race. And the gap continues to come down between Markovic and Green. He gained 1.5 seconds in the first sector alone. Tell you what, if the gap continues to come down at this rate, he might well challenge Green before the end of the race. Now that would really be something. Maybe Green might now be regretting his decision not to stop. But again, Green doesn't stop. If he does it now, he's thrown everything away. His only hope is to stay out and not make a pit stop at all. I'll keep updating you on the gap. I think it's important to say it every lap now. 16.4. He gained almost 3 seconds on that last lap alone. With 5 laps left, that means he's just going to catch on to the back of Green at the end. If Green makes a single mistake, it's all over. At this rate, I think Green will win it by about 1.4 seconds, but do Green's tyres go off even worse towards the end of this race, or does Green make another mistake? If so, Markovic is in contention. I believe there's still slight damage to Chalice's car, in fact, or is that recently picked? Steering is hanging very badly on the straight. Does he pull into the pits this time around? I think he doesn't. Okay, so the Chalice deciding just that it's not worth pitting. But it's the front of the order where I'm still very interested. This is effectively a time trial now for Avi Markovic. He needs to set consistent lap times over and over again. Chalice has another little off there. Into the chase goes Peter Green, spitting fire from his exhaust pipe. the Nissan, of course, one of the, well, definitely the most popular car here today.
So we lost another driver, unfortunately. Avi Makrovic, or his surname I cannot get. I don't know if I got it right.
Markovic?
But unfortunately, yes, he got disconnected. Unfortunately,
He's still in the race.
yeah, he's back on the race. All right. It actually disappeared on our classification, but now he's back. So
no, I'm afraid the gap's still coming down between Green and Markovic, so he hasn't had a disconnection. There must have just been a glitch there. In fact, he gained almost 4 seconds on Green on that last lap. No panic. Markovic is still in the race and still running very, very quick, and still catching Peter Green here. The gap 12.797 seconds. And that would have been a really big upset if he'd been out of this race towards, especially considering how fast he's been catching. I'm watching both Green and Markovic intently as we go into these late stage. Mistakes for either of these drivers could determine this race, because they are getting closer and closer. They're not closer, but Markovic is taking chunks of lap time out of Green. 5 seconds comes out. This is brilliant stuff from Markovic. Obviously the quickest driver on the track. May have tagged the wall slightly there on the exit forest elbow, but nothing major. Still running out. And he can see him. He can see him up. That's the first time that's happened in a very long time. That must feel so satisfying. You can only see him in a very specific point on the straight. Still, it's always extremely satisfying when you finally see a driver you've been catching for laps. Another second comes out of that. Markovic on much fresher tyres. Takes 2 seconds out in total on that last lap. No, over 2 seconds. The gap 10 seconds heading into 3 laps of this. If he continues to lap at this rate, they're going to finish almost neck and neck. Peter Green feeling the pressure, but not being able to do anything about it on one tyre. We're seeing Markovic on an absolute hunt at the minute. And if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, I'm hoping that you're still enjoying this as much as I am, because this is getting so close. Kozlov Gaming says, what if the drivers need to take a poop? Well, I hope they would have sorted that out before the race if they were professional. I have had it in a race before, though. I've regretted not doing anything before the start, but yeah, it doesn't tend to be an issue for drivers. Back to the race. Even more time is coming out. That's another 2 seconds in the first sector for Markovic on Green. It was 1.5 seconds in the last couple of laps. Now it's 2 seconds. Green in serious trouble here in the late stages of the race. And he's about... Oh, he's got De Chalice on his left as well, but De Chalice slows and lets him through nicely. There he... Hopefully he'll be just as courteous to Markovic when he comes through. 6.9 seconds! Over 3 seconds just came out on that last lap! Markovic flying, 2 laps to go. This is going to be such a close finish here between Markovic and Green. It wasn't close near the start of the race. Markovic got affected by an incident. I think it's very clear to see that if that hadn't happened, he'd be miles ahead by now. But that's not how racing. Streamer hits the wall trying to get, well, not Streamer, the Chalice hits the wall trying to get out of the wall. And now that's going to make Stream worse. First sector tends to be where Markovic takes most of his time out of. It's a 65.2 for Green. It's a 63.2 for Markovic. Another 2 seconds. The gap must be now 4.9 seconds. It's all about that gap. It's being turned down quicker than any gap I've ever seen before for the lead of the. As they hop over the crest, Markovic will be feeling like a pack of wolves. The Chalice is out, I'm afraid. We've lost another driver. He's our 4th. We've seen that he's been damaged for laps. I saw him getting into the wall earlier in this lap as well, so that's probably just been the last. And he's now disconnected from the server, so 5 drivers remaining in this race. It's been a race of attrition. Almost half the drivers who started this race have now. And after that lap, what's the gap for the lead? This is the final lap of the race. The gap is 3.7. It doesn't look like Markovic has done enough. Green just holding on for now, but Markovic can see him up ahead. If he can get a good slipstream, he might be able to attack into the final sector. It's going to be such a close finish here. Green just needs to hang on. If Green makes a mistake, it... Ah! A big slide! A big slide from Green, but he's held it! I thought that was going to be it there. This race. What drama in this final lap as Markovic continues to hunt Green. It doesn't look like he's close now, but trust me, by the time they get to the forest elbow, Green is going to have Markovic through McPhillan. Final time. First sector times being 64.8, that's an improvement for Green. 63.8, just as quick for Mark. The gap is 2.7. It doesn't look like Markovic has done enough. They're going to be separated by about a second, and this is the final lap. But will Markovic get the slipstream? He's still too far back. He's been catching for so, but Green is just gonna hold on to it. Over the crest of the hill. It's been a brilliant push from Markovic. He's been taking chunks of time out of Green, but Green has just been holding and keeping it within the. It's been one of the tensest races I've seen in a long time. Markovic took over second out of Green in the second sector. They're going to be separated by less line here. What's this? Peter Green wins it. Brilliant performance. The gap was 1.212 in the end. Remember, that was 40 seconds near the start. Markovic pushed back. He hunted him. One more lap and he would have got him. But that's the lot. Peter Green wins from Avi Markovic. Is who we're waiting for now. He's going to claim third position. After a really, really hectic and unpredictable race. One that a lot of drivers will want to forget. One that Avi Markovic would want to replay. Daniel Streamer is going to come away with the podium. Kicks up a little bit of grass, but gets away with it. Look at the fire coming out of his final corner. And as he crosses the line, he claims the final podium spot. Dean Vella is going to claim fourth place. Yeah, had a good run, but he couldn't make the tyres last to the end like Peter Green could. And Dean Vella finishes fourth position. Now, will Reem Gross get to finish? Oh, Gross did not. Oh yeah, Gross did finish. He was a lap down, but he finished. So that means it was green for Markovic, Streamer, Vela, Gross, and then we had 4 retirements as well: DeChellis, Yatov, Oliphant, and Loraro. What could Yatov have done without the disconnection at the start? What could Oliphant have done without the disconnection? Sean Loraro, Avi Markovic, Daniel Streamer, any of those drivers could have won the race without their various incidents. So what a race that was. We've now got a couple of interviews for you here today. And the first driver we have here to interview is the driver we just saw hunting down the lead at the end of the race, Avi Markovic. Hello, Avi.
Hello.
Hello.
It was so close, Avi. I tell you what, one more lap and you would have absolutely had that. Are you disappointed?
No, absolutely not. I'm happy that I didn't give up at the beginning. It was worth it. Well worth it.
Well, talk us through the beginning, actually. Start with the qualifying lap. You were actually over a second faster than the real-life pole record. How do you do that? What does it take to be quick around Bathurst?
Well, actually, I used the Green Peter's setup.
You use Peter's setup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some credit to him. But yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't expect it to go below 3 seconds. It was a surprise for me as well.
And then at the start of the race, of course, you had a little incident with Yatov disconnecting. Can you talk us through what happened then?
Yeah, I guess his internet gone wrong or something, and he didn't see me and bumped into me. I'll deal with him later.
Well, that's a shame. And he ended up in the pits, of course. Did you think it was absolutely all over at that point?
No, I straight away knew that I was thinking, let's see if I can control the car. I thought that it's possible, so I tried to do another lap and get back to the pit with the car, and so I did.
At what point did you realise that it was still possible to win the race? When did you think that Peter was not unassailable?
Well, I know this track is very tricky. I knew that my driving is very consistent, so I figured out that at least 5 cars will crash. So why not give it a try?
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Avi. And a great performance. You set the fastest lap by almost 2 seconds there, so it was a fantastic performance.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll see you back in World Pro Racing in the future.
Yeah.
So that was Avi Markovic there. Let's talk now to our the other driver in that battle there, another of our Israeli drivers, and that is Peter Green. Hello, Peter.
Hi, hello.
So, Peter, you've won it. How does that feel?
Well, it feels great. I've put in a lot of hours practicing and building the setup that my teammate used also. He liked it, and it was worth it. Well, I had a very bad start because I don't know why, but I got off very bad at the green lights, and I lost a few positions. And after that, I saw the accident and started calculating again of what I should or shouldn't do. And I don't know, someone else passed me, and then he had an accident, and then I saw that I got up to second, and I saw that the first place was using super soft tires, and I said, well, he won't last more than 6-7 laps. And so I didn't really push because I wanted to save up tires. And then, well, it was worth the guess because he probably crashed or something, because I turned out to be first, and I kept going and going, and then I saw Avi at the times that he was starting to catch up. And then, well, I wanted to raise the pace a bit, and I didn't have enough traction, and I hit the wall. Then I started driving with a bit of damage. Then he started even catching up even faster.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. So, the other driver who wasn't involved in an incident today didn't manage to do the whole race without a pit stop. Was a pit stop ever something you thought about? Did you know that you could do the whole race without one?
Yeah, I did a few full race practices about I tried to do 20 laps by practicing it, but well, I knew that the 5 last laps will be very tricky and my pace will go down. But because of the accident, it went even it was even slower than I thought at the beginning it would. But well, I thought about using super soft and maybe doing a pit stop, but I calculated it wouldn't be worth the pit stop.
Well, I tell you what, it worked very well. But at the end of the race, there with Abby catching you so quickly, just how tense was that? How difficult was it to keep concentration when you saw him getting bigger and bigger in your mirrors?
Yeah, very, very hard because each time I saw him catching up, I wanted to, to increase the pace, but I couldn't because I had less traction already because tires were starting to wear off. And well, that was very tricky and very, I don't know, what's the word? Well, I got really excited and also, well, you could see that a few times I broke too late and I skid and I started drifting here and then. Yeah, that was very challenging.
Well, you've come out with the victory there, and a well-deserved one as well for that fantastic tire conservation and consistency. So well done for that.
Thank you very much.
So let's move on now to the driver. Oh, he's disappeared. Okay, maybe we can't move on to the driver who finished third.
I think I'm gonna try to get him in now.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can do that, of course. That would be Daniel Streamer, who had a quite an eventful race today. And Annie is back in. Daniel, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. So,
Okay.
Daniel, I was just saying what an eventful race you'd had. Talk us through some of the various talking points from your race there.
So, yeah, the qualifying went quite good. I could have been a little bit faster, but as I'm not very healthy today, I'm still I'm not feeling very good. So I started the race, had a good start. After some corners, I was first, and still didn't know how I smashed the car in the wall, and was very, very lucky to nearly no damage. Usually the car should have been completely damaged, but was lucky. Went into the pits, and after that I really tried just to finish the race without pushing too hard. Otherwise, maybe I would have done another big mistake. So happy to be third, but to be honest, not very happy, because I think without a mistake I could have been first or second. I don't know, maybe in the top spot, maybe. But
well, with a race that eventful, who knows? But yeah, it was just a shame to see you spinning off from the lead there. You did well to recover to third, though. Of course, you had some help from other drivers going off, but still, to finish on the podium at Bathurst does take skill, whatever the race. So, do you feel like you did a good job today?
Yeah, to be honest, I knew this would be like, I don't know how to call it, maybe an elimination race, because
race of attrition.
Yes, if you touched the wall, sometimes if you just slightly touched it, you had damage on your axles, and you weren't able to continue. So I knew I tried to be very consistent and don't make a mistake, but it happened in the first few laps. So I'm not very happy, but I tried, and after the pit stop, I really tried just to finish the race. I knew maybe, because I think I joined in after pit stop in 6th place, and I knew maybe there was one or two guys that made a mistake, so I really tried to finish the race, and yeah, it actually went good at the end. So 3rd place, it's not very bad.
Yeah, well, good job anyway. You did well, and enjoy your podium.
Thanks.
So that's a lot from us today. I'm going to hand back over to Justin Mifsud and Adrian Fagallo to thank our sponsors and sign off the broadcast. I've been Joshua Penny. Thank you for watching, and yeah, Justin.
So thanks. I would like to thank everybody. Thanks to all drivers. Unfortunately, we saw some disconnections today, but it was good to see them rejoin and continue the race to the last. And unfortunately, then we lost drivers during the race. It was a great race to watch. I would like to thank our sponsors, which are GT Omega Racing, Gaming Malta, Rich Energy, Trustmaster, Textor, and Gamers.com.mt. Our next appointment will be published soon, and we also have our very nearest appointment now at the Go Malta Esports Festival at MFCC in Malta, where we're gonna attend. So we're gonna have the first challenge with 5 simulators here in Malta. So it's gonna be a great weekend on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of December at MFCC. I don't know if you want to add anything, Justin, before we say goodbye to our followers.
Yeah, basically, thanks to everyone, thanks to Josh for obviously being with us always in commentary. Thanks to all the drivers who, due to several issues, they still continued racing and went to pits and waited and continued. I have to remind you that we have the grip qualifiers open, so you can still register to the grip qualifiers stage. It started on the 20th and will finish on the 20th of December, so you have enough time to take part in these qualifiers and set your time on the server. Mind you to know that you don't need to be and do the best time, because there's going to be more than one division. So depending on how many people are going to register, we will have divisions. So far we have one division set, and we have the second half of it. So the more the better, and the more we have divisions. So you can apply on our website, worldproracing.com, and there you will find the grip qualifiers page, and you can register there. From my end, thank you, Adrian, for live stewarding the race. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, all the drivers. Thanks to all the supporters that supporting us, and thanks to all the viewers who are with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.